Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Good day, fellow pandemic survivors. Yeah, let's go with survivors. And welcome to another incredible, not pandemic episode of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. My name is Matt. I am one of your dose hosts. And with me, as always, mysterious as ever, not wearing pants, mysterious Mike Talent.
Hey, everybody. Matt, I like that. I like that. Pandemic survivors.
Pandemic survivors.
Let's get more positive. Let's get more positive because they delayed Tenet for indefinitely. The new movie, the new Christopher Nolan movie, and I'm very sad about this.
Damn, dude, you just kick right open with Pandora's box right at the start. No rest for the wicked.
I was trying to keep things positive, and then I totally didn't.
Well, clearly, you started out with, rainbows and unicorns, and then all of a sudden a shitstorm came out of nowhere. It's a shit monsoon, Mike.
Yeah, I just wanted to have the double rainbows, and I am not having those double rainbows.
Oh, dude, honestly. All right, so Tenet is indefinitely put on hold, which is horrible. So what the hell does that mean for the movie industry, Mike? Is everything just going to become a Netflix original or Hulu original or Amazon Prime original? Are we just all screwed for ever having movies in movie theaters again?
I don't know, man. I'm very worried. I'm worried about... I think AMC might not make it out of this. The longer it's delayed, the more and more they're in debt. They got like an emergency loan from somebody, but I mean, if the biggest one goes out of business, I don't know. We're going to lose a lot of screens. That automatically would be a big hit for the industry, at least in America, because all the screens would be people that can't be seeing the seats, and I don't, right now, definitely the other theaters aren't just going to pick up the other old, buy all the old AMC theaters. I mean, they might buy a couple, but I don't think it'd be right away. Everybody's scared. Who knows what's going on?
Well, Mike, look on the positive side. I might be able to get a real legit projector for my house. Then I wouldn't even need a 65-inch TV. I could sit outside and project into the sky and watch a movie on a cloud.
That would be a lot of fun, Matt. The issue would be the power bill that you would have to front for that projector bulb. 4,500 watts is kind of a lot, and that's like a crappy one.
Oh, dude, I would just hook it up to all my airplane batteries. I just have all my airplane batteries put together, and I would just fire it up, and there'd just be this huge explosion, and there would just be no more, where I live in Prescott. The entire area would be wiped out. The area I like to call Paulden South.
Man, what are those chemical? What kind of batteries are those?
They are lithium polymers.
Yeah, and dude, they would only last 20 minutes. You'd only get 20 minutes of a movie before shit blew up.
No, it probably would be faster than that. Because they're intended for high discharge, at once kind of thing. That's why you, okay, so not to get too nerdy, but what you have in your cell phone is known as a lithium ion. It is the same chemical makeup to a degree, but lithium ions are intended to deliver a small amount of electricity relatively over a long period of time, where lithium polymer delivers a large amount of electricity over a short period of time. So that's how I have my airplanes that have thrust to weight ratios that are 5-to-1 and 3-to-1 and stuff like that, because it's just dumping tons of power out.
Oh, it kind of sounds almost like a capacitor.
Yeah, kind of, in a way. It's just different. It's a different chemical makeup of the actual battery itself. And that's why lithium polymers are actually extremely dangerous. But lithium batteries in general are more dangerous than stuff we're used to in the past, like NiCads and nickel metal hydrides, lead acid, stuff like that. They're just a lot more. Anyways, not turn it out. This is not an RC podcast. But but yeah, I had to learn a lot about battery chemistry and makeup and stuff for my hobby, because it went from using nitro, which is a mixture of oils and gasoline and stuff to run model airplane engines, to now everything is electricity and full-on gasoline. And I don't have anything big enough for gasoline yet.
Oh, okay, man. That's quite interesting.
One day when I have money.
I'm sorry that I just derailed this whole podcast, because we do need to talk about the movie that we watched before we go just completely all the end of the world. No movie theaters ever again. Matt's going to start projecting out his backyard.
I am. My neighbor's going to hate me. It's going to be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to fire up the projector and it's going to be like the sun rising.
Yeah. How are you going to do the Atmos though? Like, are you going to just...
Ooh, I'll have drones that'll fly around in the 7 points. I'll have all of them up and they'll like sit around me and they'll have all the speakers. It'll be awesome.
Be quiet, dude. They better be quiet while they're holding the speakers.
Oh, dude, that's true. The subwoofer's going to have to be on the ground. I don't know if a drone could keep that thing going. I guess it depends on the movie, but
well, usually the sub's behind the screen anyway, so you're just going to have to
not in my house.
Put it on the ground.
In my house, the subwoofer is behind my couch.
Oh, okay. Nice. A little couch rumbling.
It works well. Yeah, it works well. Well, because my sub has the two rear speakers attached to it. That's how it's kind of wireless, is that it connects wirelessly to the front soundbar and things like that. It works.
Okay, cool.
It's I have to say it's probably better than my cheap surround sound that I used to have, which I haven't used for years. It's just been sitting in the garage. But anyways, all right, Mike. So for Real Film Nerds Podcast, episode number 180, it was your pick this week. I talked about it on Magic 99.1 this morning. It is Harry Potter meets video games, meets having guns bolted to his hands. Mike, give us the rundown of Guns Akimbo.
All right, Matt. So, Guns Akimbo, as you alluded to, starring Daniel Radcliffe and Samira Weaving. And this movie was directed by and written by Jason Lee Howden. And it's about a guy who relies on his newly acquired gladiator skills, a.k.a. guns drilled to his hands, to save his ex-girlfriend from kidnappers.
Well, Mike, this was your pick. I have to say it was an interesting film. I enjoyed it for the most part. It wasn't anything spectacular, but I liked the concept. I liked the game. It reminded me very much of like Death Race, if that's a good analogy. There's some cars in it, but it's more about someone being forced to do something that they don't really want to do, which is Death Race.
Yeah, it's a lot like Death Race, and also I was thinking it's kind of like Crank, because it's like kind of just starts, and there's not a ton of plot. There's a little bit of narrating going on to get you into it, but it just gets going, and I kind of like this because this particular character that Miles, that Daniel Radcliffe is playing, is kind of a technology guy. He's a nerd, and he's kind of an anti-troll. If
he
that's
called
a thing.
himself a troll hunter in the movie.
Troll hunter,
yeah.
Yes. And I thought that was an interesting kind of... he just would go on rants against people who ripped on other stuff, and one day he just kind of picked the wrong person to anti-troll with.
If I remember right, he was trolling one of the Schism videos, and
he was.
The Schism admin pops in and goes, "What are you doing?" and starts calling him out, and then finds his IP address. And that's like Hacker 101 thing, man. If you're going to talk any kind of shit like that, especially with people that know what they're doing, oh, dude, you got to hide your IP address. You got to use a VPN.
Yeah. IP addresses are just like phone numbers these days. They're all categorized, and everyone pretty much has a very good idea of where you're at based on your IP address.
Right. It was very realistic, that part of the film. But
yeah, no, I thought it was kind of fun because he just like sit around, drink some beer, and just gets mad at other people who get mad at other things. So I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know.
Well, and then he gets drunker and drunker throughout the evening, getting meaner and meaner, and then he woke up in the morning. He's like, "Oh no, what did I do?" And that's when he gets a little knock on the door, and the people from Schism come and get him.
Yeah. So Anyway, Matt, I don't know. I kind of like this movie. It's a little silly at times. The scene where he wakes up and his hands are all bolted to guns. You're like, well, that's pretty strange, but would that even work? But hey, they kind of they didn't focus on that part as much as more him running around, and then it was kind of funny to see somebody try and put on clothes with 2 guns as hands. That would be quite difficult.
Yeah, I was just going to allude to that. That's one of the things I really liked about the director/writer is that he really took into consideration all the challenges he's going to have without the ability of even being able to move his fingers from the guns. I mean, literally every single finger is bolted on to the body of the gun. I don't know if his trigger finger is bolted onto the trigger, but with all the other fingers being bolted onto the body of the gun, there's no way you're going to be able to move your trigger finger anyways. And so he literally can't do anything. He can barely open a door. He can't put his pants on. He can't eat. He can't go to the bathroom. It's I'm glad they added that in there because that added a little bit more of a fun element to it other than just here, he's going to go light everybody up.
Yeah. The going to the bathroom part was pretty fun when he's talking to a homeless person who's actually quite enlightening, and he's like, "Dude, can you whip it out?" He's like, "Nope."
Well, and that's one of the ones that's played. The homeless guy is played by Rise Darby. He's a fairly famous comedic actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Typically a character actor.
Jumanji.
Yes, he was in Jumanji. He was also in one of my favorites that it's a newer Jim Carrey film. Trying to remember the exact title of it. It's the one where he always has to accept whatever people tell him to do or ask him to do. He can't say no.
Liar?
Huh?
Is that Liar Liar?
No, it's not Liar Liar. That's why I'm messing up the title. But he works at a bank.
That's that one where he's the susceptible to suggestion.
Not susceptible. He can't tell people no. He has to say yes. Yes, man. God damn it. How did I?
Oh yeah. How did we forget this?
God, I feel old.
Great name for a movie. Ah, geez, we're terrible.
Anyways, yeah, Yes Man. And that's a newer Jim Carrey. It's still not like brand new kind of thing, but he's in that and he plays the bank manager, and coincidentally, he throws a Harry Potter party. But I really enjoyed him in that one. He's been in a bunch of other stuff as well, always just kind of smaller side characters. But that's one of the problems I had was like, here's this dude, big name actor. He's a homeless man that they keep cutting to. Harry Potter himself only has one interaction with him, and he's very enlightening, and he knows way too much, and he gives him a hot dog covered in mustard that's been sitting there for 8 or 9 days, and he's a vegan and all this stuff, and it was a very weird scene that I don't know if really needed to be in the movie, and it's kind of a waste of a really good actor, and I don't know, that's just one of those things that I had an issue with. Kind of like, there's some lines in here that are really good, really good, that Samara Weaving drops. There's one towards the end where she has a couple of her fingers blown off, and the line that comes out of her mouth caught me by surprise, and I laughed for a while. For a good long while. So there's like pieces of gold like that in here, and then there's some that are just bad. They're just really bad. Or like in the beginning, like when he's first getting hunted and he runs to his office, one of his coworkers pulls out a Nerf gun and shoots like Samara Weaving in the head with the Nerf gun. And I just was like, dude, I've been there. I've done that. I have that exact model at work. I've hit people in the head with it.
Yeah, there's things in the movie. It's not perfect, but I enjoyed it. So, it to me, I kind of saw this graphic, basically the graphic for the movie, just on Prime, and I was like, why not? And I just watched it, and I was like, oh, that actually wasn't too bad. So
no, it was funny. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying there's parts that are really good. Like really good, and then there are parts that are just like, what Why?
Matt, did you recognize Samara Weaving? She's
Of
also
course.
in one of your more recent movies that you really liked quite a bit, the Ready or Not.
Yeah, and she did a much better job in Ready or Not, and this was actually the movie she did directly after Ready or Not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think she did a much, much better job in that movie. I'm not saying that she didn't do a good job in this one. She did fine. There's just some elements I'm not a huge fan of. Like, she has these, like, her canines are, like, bright chrome. Whenever she talks, it's a little distracting, and, like, they never explain why it's like that. And she's, like, this badass that's hunting down, and she has a decent backstory, but there could have been more, like, how did she get into Schism and all that other stuff? She didn't even do it for revenge. It's just left more that to be desired, I guess.
Yeah, there was a couple things like that were a little forced. Matt, we haven't got into spoilers, but we pretty much already spoiled this movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's some stuff with her. There's this character who's in it who's like, you know, trying to pursue the Schism people. He's a police officer, and then all of a sudden they have this weird tie-in that's probably not even granted. Like, I don't know if they should have had that in there, but you know, it ends up being her dad, and you're like, what?
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Like, it just, that seemed too, I don't know, too predictable, they didn't need to do that at all. Like, it would have been fine to just have some driven cop chasing, like, I don't know. I guess it helps later on when the two characters end up trying to partner up because he can try and relate to her. You know, I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It seemed odd to me. That was a very odd. It just didn't seem right. Like, it just seemed kind of thrown in there. I don't know.
Yeah, like it was a last minute decision. It's just not. It's another one of those decisions that I mean, we could blame the writer and the director because it's the same person, but it just is one of those things that it's like, okay, fine. So, Mike, I noticed you seem quite parched.
Yes, I am always parched, man. And, you know, I think I should ask you what you are drinking, and I will gladly tell you what I'm drinking.
Well, Mike, thanks for asking. Since I guess that's what you're doing, right? Yeah?
Yes,
All right.
yes. Matt, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Dick's Mountain Amber Ale. It is another one of the beers that I got in my monthly beer pack that was a gift from my girlfriend, Stacy, because she's freaking awesome. Dick's Brewing Company is out of Centralia, Washington. Founded in 1983. Anyways, of the 4 beers I got in my first month of it, I have to say this one's probably my favorite. It's a nice amber beer, and I like my ambers. The others are pretty hoppy. This one is not. So
Nice, dude. Nice. That's good.
speaking of hoppy, what, pray tell, Rabbit Mike, are you drinking?
Well, Matt, you know, you definitely get me. I am drinking a Sierra Nevada Hop Bullet double IPA. So, you know, they shoot you with the hops,
Yeah?
and it's fantastic.
It explodes in your mouth?
Yeah, is that what she's? Oh, never mind. We're good.
Dude, you don't remember? I think that was actually the last time we talked about that beer, if you want to tell the truth. And I turned you saying it explodes in your mouth into a cell phone ringer for my buddy Steve, who uses it whenever I text him. And he just laughs every single time. Because it's just you saying explodes in your mouth.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
All right, Mike. Well, talking about explosions, not in the mouth, just large explosions.
All right.
How does Guns Akimbo relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, man, Thanks for asking. This one was a pretty easy one. This was Jason Lee Howden, the director and writer, also worked on visual effects for Avengers, the first one in 2012.
Well, Mike, weren't you going to talk about a recent MCU that a listener discovered?
Yeah, man. I got called out, man. I really screwed up. I couldn't find one for the 7500, and nope, I got schooled
By avid listener, fan of the podcast, Mr. Austin Morris of Signals AZ fame, called you out. He found a tie-in.
He did. Ah, man, I feel bad because I didn't catch this one. But Tim Leidecker is a visual effects artist who worked on Spider-Man Homecoming. So I don't think the streak is broken, Matt, right? I mean, but I did get, I didn't find it. So is it?
I don't know. I'll allow it because Austin's cool. He loves our podcast. Giving you lots of shout outs here, Austin. Honestly, I think he downloads it like before I even post it, like most of the time. I'll send it to him to put on their website and I'll have like one download. He's pretty hardcore about listening to our pod every week. And 7500, he thanked us very much for suggesting that movie because he hadn't even heard of it and he thought it was fantastic. And I agree. I thought it was a great film as well.
No, that one was good, man. I'm glad that I picked that one because I know your love of flying, Matt, and I didn't, other than it saying something about a pilot, I was like, I don't know what this is about. I'm just gonna watch it,
dude. It was really good. It really was. I highly suggest people check it out. Go back and listen to our pod, episode 178, 7500. So let's continue with Guns Akimbo, which means in the video game world, one gun per hand. We've already pretty much spoiled the hell out of this movie. I don't know what else to go into it. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. I'm just saying there were parts that were better than others by far. And there's some parts that are real stinky parts.
Yeah. Matt, I don't think this was released in theaters, but
at least not here. I don't remember it, but it was released in February.
Yeah, but this one was, there are parts that aren't the best, but I did, I kind of liked this one. It was just different and it was fun to see. So I'm glad that I once again kind of just shot in the dark and was like, oh, what's this movie? I'm just going to watch this one. And then I liked it.
Well, Mike, I think you and I both need to keep this up because people right now, I know I'm starting to get to the point where I'm looking for things that are new, specifically TV shows, not a whole lot of movies. And I'm like, man, should I go back and watch this? Do I really want to watch this? Like, I was really contemplating watching Groundhog Day the other day after Palm Springs, just because Groundhog Day is incredible. But if you asked me how many times I've seen Groundhog Day, I can't tell you. It's a lot. So I'm like, well, I've already seen it like so much. Yes, it'll brighten my mood. It'll make me feel better. But again, I kind of want something new. So finding these films that are a little bit off the beaten path, that are decent or at least fun, like this one was fun, I think we're doing our listeners a service. I think we're helping, trying to keep this madness of being locked up all the time at bay.
Yeah, definitely. I know next week's pod, man, I don't know if we've said anything about it yet, but we're going to be doing the Old Guard. That one's really popular, but there's just all these different things coming out, and we're just going to try and spread it out. Like, we did the Hulu one with Palm Springs, do some Amazon ones. We'll do some Netflix, try and keep it balanced and not just focus on one streaming service versus the other. And there's a lot now. Peacock's out just because we wanted one more.
Peacock, HBO Max. Now, I have been watching a bit of HBO Max, but not how I want to. I can't watch it on my Roku. I have to fire up the old Xbox.
Oh no! Oh yeah, they didn't do Roku, and didn't
Peacock
didn't either, right?
Peacock and HBO Max, I believe, are both owned by Turner, or at least related to Turner in some way. I know HBO for sure is owned by Turner. And Turner is warring with Amazon and Roku mostly over advertising on their different platforms, and they are standing their ground saying we are not going to allow our service to be on your products until you change your advertising ways and give us more money, basically. And Roku saying, well, we are now a big player, and Amazon definitely knows they're a big player, and they're like, well, fine. And it's true. With the Amazon TVs and Roku's being built into TCLs and all that stuff, the majority of the market is for streaming devices is on Amazon Fire Sticks or Roku devices. So I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. I think it might be a battle right now, but I think Roku and Amazon will win the war here in the next month or two because they're both very expensive. It's HBO Max is $15-$16 a month, something like that.
I think they're gonna have to give in because like Roku dominates. They just have a good interface. They have reasonable prices for their streaming things, even if you don't buy like a TCL or some other TV that's driven by it. And then Fire Sticks are also really, really, really popular. Fire TV is. Yeah, I think it's okay, but I think the sticks are very popular, partly because of their price. And Amazon's totally cool with losing tons of money on hardware. So
yep.
They would rather you watching their stuff or some of their things and then making money off of the hardware. So they're willing to take a loss on that. Speaking of warring services and things, AMC, which is giant movie theater chain, number one in America, is hurting really bad, and supposedly they're supposed to be fighting off with Universal because they're upset about how Universal is releasing some things straight to video on demand. But I don't think this is the time to pick the fight. So I think what's going to happen is they're either going to replace their CEO or they're going to walk back those comments and be like, well, just kidding. We kind of need as much as we can get, especially if we can only operate at 50%. So we're okay again, Universal. You guys are great.
Well, didn't this all start with, I can't think of the frickin' movie. You remember?
Trolls.
Trolls. Yeah, Trolls. Because Trolls is a Universal movie, right?
Trolls World Tour.
Right. And it's a Universal movie. And AMC got pissed that Universal basically called out AMC over this whole debacle and all this crap and saying, oh, well, we don't need the theaters anyways, especially AMC. Like, I think they even actually named AMC in the comments, like the CEO or the CFO or someone like that. And that started this whole war. And so basically it's gearing up. It's getting worse. And I know, Mike, you're a huge fan of Universal, especially their theme parks.
As terrible as they are, and they just keep making them, I kind of like the Fast and Furious movies. They're ridiculous. They're so ridiculous, but they're kind of
super ridiculous.
They're kind of a guilty pleasure, and I like just watching them. The last one was so off the wall.
I think I told you I'd never seen all of them since the second one, the third one, which was Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, you did.
And then I sat down, and they were having a marathon of them on USA, and I have a DVR with my AT&T Now, which used to be DirecTV now, and I recorded all the ones I hadn't seen and sat down and watched them over, I think, a period of a month. And I have to say, they do grow on you just because how freaking ridiculous they are and how cool the cars are they have.
The action stunts and stuff, everything has to be bigger and better every time. It's almost like a Bay-Bang.
Yeah.
It's just like when they're jumping cars in Dubai to building different buildings, you've reached the peak. Man, is that awesome.
I think my favorite out of all of them was Fast 5. I think Fast 5 was probably the best.
Nice, man. Because they're coming out with, I think, F9, I think is what it's called. Fast 9 or something.
Well, it was supposed to be out this summer, but thanks to, Rona, She's a cruel mistress.
Yeah. Those movies, I mean, this isn't crazy, but those movies make like $1 billion worldwide. So for Universal, it's huge.
Yeah,
and
they do. It's insane.
If AMC cuts out their seats, you know, they're going to be doing themselves a disservice, and they're also going to be hurting Universal. Now, Universal seems to be like, whatever, we'll just make it up in the streaming or something. But I don't know, man. I feel like those first couple weeks in the theater, get that premium money.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Because, you know, you and I, we'll be there. We'll be there for the first week it's in the theaters, especially since I caught up, you know. So I'm sure F9, F10, I mean, how far do they go? F12? So they're going to have to stop at F12, according to my keyboard.
No. They will stop making them when they stop making $1 billion. And so far, it doesn't seem to be happening. I think the world over loves them. They're so ridiculous. They're so action-packed. They go all over the world. They do just things, and every time it's just like more and more ridiculous. Like, how did The Rock get in there? And Jason Statham, and like all these people who aren't even characters are all of a sudden in there, and now it's even bigger. And
well, isn't like one of the big things about F9, not to keep going about this ridiculousness, but F9 is that Han comes back. And how the hell does Han come back when his car blew up?
You know, Letty gets killed off in one of the movies, and then like 2 movies later, she's back.
It's true.
So whatever. You know, Michelle Rodriguez's character, Letty, is like, her head's blown off and then she's back with amnesia. I don't know, man. Whatever. It's like almost like a soap opera.
Some good
just
drugs.
Like, well, we want that character back, so let's just back that up a little bit. She has amnesia. Everything's good. Go.
Well, when it comes out, we will definitely probably be reviewing it.
Oh no, we will for sure review it, Matt. It might not be that much fun for you, but I like it.
We did Hobbs and Shaw. And I have to say, all the Fast and Furious movies, even the really bad ones, are better than Hobbs and Shaw. I was really disappointed with Hobbs and Shaw. But again, Hobbs and Shaw is part of what inspired me to watch all the other Fast and Furious movies, because I wanted to figure out how the hell The Rock and Jason Statham were introduced to this world. And I found out.
Hobbs and Shaw is not great, although there's some okay parts. I enjoyed the back and forth between those two characters, but no, overall that movie is just weird. Like the whole like going to you know, Samoa and doing all these whatever. But anyway, it was just action, just to be action. There is almost no plot. Like, that movie is very low in plot. Like, Fast and Furious is low in plot, but like Hobbs and Shaw was like really, really low in plot.
It's action and family and cars.
Yeah, and ridiculous weird cars. Why?
Because cars are cool.
Yeah, it was like you know, Thunderdome or you know, it was like Mad Max style cars, and you're like, okay, that's cool. What are they doing in this movie?
Dude, I cannot wait for that, because there's supposedly going to be a sequel to Fury Road coming down the pike. I don't think it's going to have Charlize Theron in it, but if they stay the form of Fury Road, oh, dude, that's one of my favorite modern movies was Fury Road. That thing is just incredible.
Now,
The
Fury
practical
Road
stunts.
was really cool. It took so long for them to make it, though, Matt. That makes me nervous that they're going to take a long time to make the next one.
Well, especially since they can't do anything right now, thanks to our mistress, Rona. Anyways. All right, so Mike, we were like way off topic.
Way off topic.
Not way off topic. I mean, we're still talking about movies, though, so we're not that off topic. We're not talking about, you know, anything that I usually bring up. So, you know, it's fine. It's all good, Mike. It's relevant. But let's go ahead and do this, Mike. How many reels do you give Guns Akimbo?
Man, I'm gonna give this one 3.5. I really enjoyed it.
3.5. You really enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Fours and above don't really come out of me much.
That's what she said.
I guess so. Oh man.
I don't know. It just felt right. Again, that's what she said. All right. Well, Mike, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the greatest movie. I had fun, like I said, some of those parts like really caught me off guard and were really good. And there's other parts that are just garbage. But unlike you, I give it an average rating of 3 reels.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, all right, we already talked about it once. Next week, Netflix, Charlize Theron. Speaking of, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yep. Yeah. We're going to be talking about The Old Guard. It's, I guess, a runaway hit for Netflix. It sounds like it's the biggest movie that they've had streamed in such a short amount of time. I think it's over 100 million.
Really? That big already? Really? Interesting. Because what's their current champion?
I think Extinction was actually with Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Is that their top movie?
I think
I
that
thought it was
their...
one of those. I thought it was one of those shitty Adam Sandler movies.
No, those do well, Matt, but I don't think they get to the level that Extinction, I think, was streamed. And so, but here's the caveat, man. They changed the way that they measure the streaming, and they did it more like YouTube, which apparently is a little bit deceiving. And so I think you only have to watch 3 to 4 minutes of the movie to count as a stream.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because what's YouTube? YouTube's like 25 seconds?
I don't know.
To
but
count as a view? Something like that?
Yeah.
It's something really stupid.
Yeah, previously they had you watch like 75% of the movie.
Yeah, see, I think it should be a percentage. I like that, instead of just being like a set time.
But I don't remember the exact time, so I'm sorry if someone is listening who knows the exact time. But it's not very long now, so some of these numbers that might sound a little bit grandiose might not be 100%.
Write in, let us know. Hit us up if you do know. Hit us up. Oh, speaking of people writing and emailing us, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. It's going to be a few weeks out. We were talking about this movie. I wanted to see this movie. I don't know if they heard our podcast or what, but the distributor of a film that was direct to video contacted us again, and we're going to be doing another giveaway.
Yeah, no, this is exciting stuff, man. I was excited to see that we have another giveaway. We're making it into the big time now. Yeah,
it's going to be the King of Staten Island. And I really wanted to see this movie, but I just couldn't justify spending $20 or $25 to rent it for a viewing. And so we're going to get ourselves a nice little review copy for Mike and I to watch. And then we're going to have a handful of copies to send out to our listeners. So make sure and tell your friends, your family, pay attention, because when we come up to that podcast, we will be giving away a few copies of The King of Staten Island. I'm excited, man. It's pretty awesome. We got another contest. I love it.
Yeah, no. This is exciting, man. Feel free to send us more stuff to give away. We love doing this.
Yeah, I love helping out our listeners. It's awesome.
This stupid Rona keeps going on, man. I miss the theater so bad. Miss it so bad.
I cry every single time I drive past Harkins over here in Prescott Valley. Every single time. I just cry. Anyways,
man, just miss it. I miss just going in the morning, being all peaceful, just enjoying some movie about whatever, eating some popcorn maybe.
But again, Harkins, you want to donate me a projector when you shut down, and I can use drones for Atmos audio. You let me know. I'm down.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that 4,500 watts, that's not cheap, man.
You know what? I'll have to just plug into the neighbor's electricity. It'll go through a normal plug, right?
No, it wouldn't. But yeah, go for it, man.
It's a hell of an extension cable.
make sure you have some really big rubber gloves on when you're hooking this up.
That's fine. You know what? I heard electricity kills the Rona.
Me too, man. Me too.
I'm gonna start that conspiracy theory. God, I watched John Oliver's last week tonight, and it was all about conspiracy theories, and it's so ridiculous. Don't even get me started on that shit. I'm not going to, because there are some members of my family that wholeheartedly believe in a lot of these conspiracy theories, and it's just like, I thought you were smarter than this. I really did, but nope. I'm gonna leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's a good episode, though. Watch it. It's a real good episode.
Yeah. So, when I interact with people, Matt, now I build up the static electricity. So I have a balloon on me all the time, and I just, get it real going, and then I shock them, and then we're good. So we can talk about the Ronin stuff because I've killed it.
Yeah. Does the metal mask help conduct the electricity?
It tingles a little bit when I shock them, the metal mask, but it's a little harder to breathe through, but I think it's totally worth it.
Worth it? Nice. Love it. All right. Well, Mysterious Mike, I think we have come to the end of Real Film Nerds Podcast, episode 180. Hang out, listen to my radio interview with Lisa live and local on Magic 99.1 coming up right after the end of the podcast. Mike, your turn.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and catch us on the socials, and make sure to keep listening for the future giveaway of Kings of Staten Island, because that's going to be a lot of fun. And then make sure that you go out there and watch as many movies as you can.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.
Good morning, Magic 99.1. Who's this?
It's your bestest movie buddy.
Hey, bestest movie buddy, Matt Hinshaw from the Real Film Nerds podcast. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing today, Lisa?
It just feels like I haven't seen you in like half a year or something like that.
Well, I'm just glad I have Facebook and I can look at your face on the Facebook so I know that you exist.
Oh, aren't you a sweetheart and a liar? But anyway, so I have to tell you, I watched a movie this weekend and I was very, very, very disappointed. I don't know.
Whoa.
I don't know if you've reviewed this movie, but it was Uncut Gems. Did you review this for us?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I watched it in the theaters. It was one of the last movies. I didn't love it, but I loved Adam Sandler's performance.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Because you know what? I always get on Rotten Tomatoes to see, what it got on the tomato meter. And it got 92%. And I was like, oh, that can't be bad, right?
I wouldn't say that it was bad. It's definitely not your typical film, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was a little bit on the rough side. I guess I should look at the audience score because that was 52%. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you checked it out because no matter what about that movie, the biggest upset I had was that Sandler was not nominated for a Academy Award.
That's right.
And I thought that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, because he played a character that he's never played before.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's one of his, if not his best performance of his lifetime, it's definitely close to the top.
Okay, I'm remembering that now.
Yeah, and he took it personally and basically told everyone that I am just going to stick to Netflix and making horrible comedies that all of you are going to hate because people, some weird reason, love those things, and he makes money hand over fist from Netflix.
Right.
So that's really sad because he has very, very good acting chops.
Yes, he certainly does. All right, fair enough, Matt. What did you see?
I watched a New Zealand movie that came out in February. I don't think it came to the theaters in the U.S., but it is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. It is called Guns Akimbo, and it stars Samara Weaving and Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, okay. And what did you think?
It's unique is a good way to put it. It's not horrible. It's cheesy. It's action-filled. It's a little goofy. I believe it's based off a comic book. I'm not 100% on that, though.
Okay.
It's really over-the-top. It's quite graphic. The blood in the action is very fake.
Okay.
It's silly. It's not for everybody. I guess is a good way to put it.
All right. Very good. Very good. Now, how many reels are you going to give it?
I give it an average score. I give it 3 out of 5 because, like I said, I did actually enjoy it to a level because of it's just so zany and has some video game elements to it, and it's a little dark. It's a little twisted. and Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter,
Right.
running around shooting people with guns attached to his hands. I mean, it's just strange.
Yeah, strange is probably a good word.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a unique film that if you're into action films and you're okay with a little bit of gore and you're okay to suspend disbelief quite a bit, it's basically this criminal organization comes up with a way to hold real life versus modes where people shoot at each other in open streets, and it's just
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll pass on that one. I think I'll pass on Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
All right,
not
very
for
good.
everyone.
Very good. What are you going to watch this week?
This week, out on July 10th on Netflix, it's the new Charlize Theron movie. It's called The Old Guard.
Ooh, The Old Guard. It's got to be good if it's got Charlize Theron in it.
Yeah, I've loved a lot of her films, even the ones that critics and other people didn't like Atomic Blonde. I really like that movie. She's very good at action.
Yes.
And this is quoted as an action adventure fantasy.
Ooh.
So we'll see how it goes.
All right, very good. You guys can catch Matt on his podcast, The Real Film Nerds. Thank you, Matt, for checking in with us this morning on what station? I'm testing you.
Oh, it's Magic 99.1. You don't need to test me. I know these things.